All right, example number 1 here. It says an interest-only loan of $5,000 is taken out at a rate of 18% per annum, compounding biannually. All right, so if it's biannually, that means it's twice a year. So n is equal to 2. All right, what is the repayment amount required? What is the repayment amount acquired? Well, it's an interest-only loan, which means all I need to figure out is how much interest is going to be generated biannually, and that will be my repayment amount. So what we can do here is we can use our formula that we see up here. So I'm going to use that. So I'm going to come down here, and we're going to use that formula. I am going to grab a blue. So I'm going to say D is equal to, now my R here is going to be 18. Then I'm going to divide that by, my N here is 2. So my N here is 2. Whoopsie daisy. My N here is 2. Then I divide that by 100. Then I times it by my V of 0. This here is my V of 0. The initial amount that I take out is 5,000. And that is what my formula tells me to do. So I just followed my formula there. And then we could, of course, do this. So we can go control, divide, 18 divided by 2 over 100. Then I'm going to times it by 5,000. So that means it's going to be 450. Now, the important thing here is to recognize is that what we have found here, this 450, what it represents is that every month, the interest that is generated on the loan is going to be $450. Well, remember, this is an interest-only loan. So therefore, my repayment is simply going to be what the interest is. All right, let's now go on to the next part here. It says, write a recursion relation using L of n to describe this loan. All right, so I'm going to go L of 0 is going to be equal to $5,000. Then I'm going to go L of n plus 1 is going to be equal to, now remember, I have to figure out what my R is. And my R is simply 1 plus R over n over 100. So to figure that out, well, I've kind of already got it here. Do you see this portion? It's there. But I just need to add 1 to it. So it's going to be 1.09. And again, that makes sense. It's always important that you can make sense of what's going on here. Can we just stop for a moment? Because this is where people tend to get confused. As you can see, what I've got here on my CAS is telling me that my R value is 1.09. The reason why it's 1.09, that's telling me that every half year, I'm paying 9% interest. And that makes sense because annually, it's 18% interest. So it makes sense that half a year, I'm paying 9%, and then at the other half a year, I'm paying the other 9%, which adds up to 18%. So that's what's happening there. That's how it's working. All right, once I've done that, I then times it by L of n, and then I'm going to subtract 450 from it because that's my repayment. And what should happen here, if I was to show you this in action, I'm starting with 5 grand, 1, 2, 3. I'm doing this on my CAS. I then am timesing it by, I'm going to take this 1.09, then I'm minusing 450 from it. If I've done this correctly, my output should be 5 grand because my repayment should cover my interest. And sure enough, it's 5 grand. And I could keep doing this. And look, it's always just going to remain 5 grand. That's how I know that I've done it correctly. So before we move on here, I just want to do one thing here. I want to come here under this 1.09 because I imagine this is where people are going to get confused. It's finding this R value. So remember, we're finding this R value and R has the formula of this. So can I just write down what I did to find this? Because this is normally where people get all mixed up. So it's going to be, my R is going to be 1 plus, then it was 18 over 2. Ooh, can I just do something for a second? This pen is just a little bit too thick. I need to make it a bit smaller. It's going to be 1 plus 18 divided by 2 over 100. And if I do that, which we did all the way up here, there it is, that will give me 1.09, which is how I got that one right there. So that's how that works. So make sure you understand those basic things, otherwise things will get a bit tricky. All right,